Babu and his Uncle Rowdy are hard at work. There's lots to do before the big party. Babu has lived with his Uncle Rowdy since he was a boy. That's when his parents were cruelly taken by the 100-year storm. Babu can still recall that dreadful day. His parents disappearing into the swirly blue sea. He was very sad to lose his parents, but Babu has always enjoyed living with his Uncle Rowdy. He's learned many valuable skills, and at night time, when the day's work is done, Uncle Rowdy shares magical stories about his travels across the kingdom. Babu is now an adult, and it's time for Uncle Rowdy to return to his mainland home at the top of Grey Mountain. Babu throws his uncle a fantastic farewell party. All their friends from the island come to say goodbye. When the party's over, Babu watches on as his uncle drifts away towards the mainland. For the first time since he was a boy, Babu is alone at camp. Babu will miss his Uncle Rowdy, but there's lots of work to keep him busy at camp. Babu is collecting food in the forest. He's going to make a delicious soup when he gets back to camp. Stopping for a drink, he takes in the charming sounds of the forest. Suddenly, Babu hears footsteps among the trees. It's a girl, out foraging for food. Babu approaches slowly. Babu tells the girl his name and welcomes her to the island. Hesitant, the girl tells him her name is Amora. Amora seems tired, so Babu offers her his water. She accepts, and the two sit side by side on some rocks. Eventually, Amora tells Babu she's on her way to the mainland with her family. Babu tells Amora he's never left the island before. Her trip to the mainland sounds very exciting. Amora says it's a lovely island. She wishes she could stay, but her family says they have to leave as soon as they've collected enough food. Babu tells Amora he too wishes she could stay. Amora smiles. Babu feels a tickle in his stomach. He's never felt a tickle like this before. Suddenly, a horn sounds in the distance. Amora jumps to her feet and, grabbing her food, rushes towards the sound. Babu is shocked. He shouts out to Amora, asking what the sound means. Amora stops. Turning back for just a moment, she tells him she must return to her family. Then, with a look of sadness cast upon her, she turns away again and races towards the sound. Back at camp, Babu is thinking about Amora. If the horn was sounded by her family, Why did she seem so sad to leave? Babu sits alone at his campfire, his mind racing with thoughts of Amora. For the first time in his young life, Babu can't focus on his work at camp. Sitting there, alone in front of the fire, Babu knows only one thing for certain. He must return to the forest in search of her. Babu returns to the forest. Day becomes night, and Babu begins to worry. Maybe Amora has already left the island. He hears a sound among the trees. It's Amora! Babu rushes to her side. The two kiss, and Babu's body is as wobbly as jelly. They sit together once more. Now Babu learns the truth about Amora's journey. Amora isn't visiting the island with her family after all. She and her sister have been taken from their home by a group of traveling bandits. The bandits send Amora out to forage all day, while her sister is forced to perform chores for them at camp. Babu listens as Amora tells her grim tale. Once again, a horn blows in the distance, but this time Amora won't leave Babu's side. Babu vows to help Amora and her sister escape those bandits. He won't let them be snatched away to the mainland. Babu and Amora prepare to leave. But before they can, the bandits appear from nowhere. Babu tries to defend Amora, but he's bopped over the head by one of the bandits. Babu lies dizzied on the forest floor as the bandits drag Amora away. Poor Babu, there's nothing he can do. Babu awakens on the forest floor. Alone and with a dizzy head, he staggers across the island in search of Amora. At the water's edge, he finds evidence of the camp, but there's no sign of the sisters. Day and night Babu searches the island, but Amora is nowhere to be found. Tired and alone, Babu has no choice but to return home. Back at camp, Babu sits alone. He has no strength to eat. He has no strength to work. Amora is all he can think about. Pacing, and with his stomach in knots, Babu's heart is broken. He stares out across the swirly blue sea, watching a bottle drifting towards shore. Picking up the bottle, Babu reads the message within. The message is from Amora. Babu can't believe his eyes. The bandits are taking the sisters to a place called Sad Tree at the far edges of the kingdom. Once there, the girls will be traded and sent to a place called the Outer Reaches. Babu has only heard of these places by name, in stories told to him around the fire by his Uncle Rowdy. With his mind focused once more, Babu knows what he must do. Wherever Sad Tree is, whatever the risks, Babu will go there in search of Amora. Babu is preparing to leave for the mainland. There's no time to waste if he's to save Amora from the bandits. Babu has worked all night to finish his boat. In it, he will cross the swirly blue sea until reaching the mainland. Once ashore, Babu will travel to his uncle's home at the top of Grey Mountain. If there's one person who will know the way to Sadtree, it's surely Uncle Rowdy. Babu gathers his supplies and readies his boat for launch. He looks back at his home once more, uncertain of when he will return. Staring out across the swirly blue sea, Babu remembers all that he has lost. Despite the dangers that may await him, Babu knows he must leave his island home. His heart has been awoken by Amora, and he will follow it, wherever it may lead. Aboard his boat on the swirly blue sea, Babu is heading toward the mainland. Much to his surprise, Babu is enjoying his trip at sea. With the shore on the horizon, Babu will soon be headed toward his Uncle Rowdy's. A crack of thunder in the distance. The wind rises and the sun begins to fall as a darkness floods the sky. And now the rain pours. Crashing into the ocean, he floats helplessly among the waves. Poor brave Babu, another soul lost to the swirly blue sea. On the sandy shore, Babu lies motionless. He would have been lost to the swirly blue sea, had it not been for the kind bluey that brought him to shore. Coughing and spluttering, Babu begins to move. He hasn't perished. He's alive! Turning toward the shore, he takes in his surroundings. Somehow, some way, Babu has made it to the mainland. In the kingdom's mainland, Babu walks alone. He'll travel day and night before reaching Grey Mountain. Babu must first pass through the land of the Num-Nums, an enchanted place, ruled by mysterious buttons. With his supplies lost at sea, all Babu has left is a trading coin, left to him by his parents. The coin is worth much in the kingdom, but he won't trade it unless he has to. Despite the long journey ahead, Babu is determined to make it to his uncle's home. With his Uncle Rowdy's help, he knows he can save the sisters from those bandits. Babu meets a man along the way. His name is Mr. Fox. He's a man of the highway. Babu tells Mr. Fox he's headed to Grey Mountain. Mr. Fox offers to show Babu the way. Babu accepts, and the two stroll happily along. As they walk, Babu tells Mr. Fox of his quest to find Amora. Mr. Fox has heard of Sadtree. He says Babu is very brave. As the sun begins to set, Mr. Fox says it's time to stop for some food. Babu is thankful to Mr. Fox for sharing his meal. It's time for the friends to go to sleep. Babu must rest if he's to make it to Uncle Rowdy's. Waking from his slumber, Babu feels something in his pocket. It's Mr. Fox. He's stealing Babu's coin. Babu confronts the thief, but Mr. Fox has a weapon. His friendly face now a scowl. Mr. Fox says the coin is his. Frightened and unarmed, Babu can only watch as Mr. Fox walks away with his treasure. Suddenly, a pair of num-nums appear from nowhere. The num-nums are multiplying. They're after the shiny coin. As the num-nums engulf Mr. Fox, Babu makes his escape. Running until he can run no more, Babu stops to take a rest. Treacherous Mr. Fox. He wasn't a friend at all. Saddened by the loss of his trading coin, Babu carries on alone. A num-num appears in the road. Babu halts, uncertain what to expect. The num-num tells Babu they are a peaceful people, and thievery on their lands is never accepted. Then, the num-num produces the trading coin and returns it to Babu. Babu can't believe it. The num-num has saved the day. With the coin safely returned to his pocket, Babu follows the num-num to the edge of their lands. Next, Babu will travel the resting places, a somber land where the dead are buried and their souls live on. Babu moves quickly across the resting places. He's keen to pass through this somber place. Soon he will be through these lands and one step closer to his Uncle Rowdy's. Then he'll push forward to Sadtree and his beloved Amora. Babu wonders endlessly about the sisters' plight. He doesn't know of Amora's attempts to break free from those bandits. Her efforts have been numerous, and the punishments harsh, but Amora won't give up on escaping those bandits. Back among the grey, Babu happens across some strange items scattered across the floor. He picks one up, hoping it might be food. It isn't food. It's an old bone, and it's wiggling in his hands. Babu attempts to escape this undead nightmare, but the other bones are wiggling all around him. Although frightened, Babu will defend himself until the end. Suddenly, one of the bony monsters begins to speak. They say they mean no harm and invite Babu to hear their tale. Cautious, Babu agrees to join these curious bony beings. The bones call themselves the Skellybobs, and they were once like Babu, before they were cruelly snatched up and forced to work at the outer reaches. Desperate to learn more, Babu listens as the Skellybobs tell their cruel tale. The pirates are forcing workers to harvest lava for their molten warship. Once built, the pirates will invade the kingdom and bring it under their rule. The Bobs tell Baboo that all those taken to the outer reaches will eventually become undead. And once undead, you can never again be made whole. Baboo listens and wonders and can't believe his ears. He must get to Amora before she's traded to this dreadful land. The Skelly Bobs assure Baboo he still has time to save the sisters. It's a long journey to Sadtree for the bandits. Baboo thanks the Skelly Bobs for sharing what they know. The Bobs tell Baboo he's very welcome. Then, as they always do when their souls are freed from resting, they perform the dance of the Skelly Bobs for Baboo's pleasure. When the dance is over, Baboo tells the Skelly Bobs it's time for him to leave. The Bobs frown, and for a moment, Baboo hesitates, knowing what his exit means. The Bobs tell Baboo he must continue his quest. He must save Amora from their fate. With a word of thanks, Baboo leaves the resting places. The Skelly Bobs watch on as Baboo disappears from view. Then, they tumble to the kingdom's floor. Baboo is passing through the booger swamps. This boggy land is all that stands between him and the foot of Grey Mountain. Baboo must be silent while among these boggy waters. He doesn't want to awaken the monsters that lurk below. Baboo stumbles. He looks around, but sees no threat. Suddenly, a rising from the depths. It's a booger monster, and it's trying to drag Baboo below. Bravely, Baboo battles the creature. He won't be taken by this slimy beast. Fending off the green monster, Baboo makes it to the other side. Finally, he's reached the foot of Grey Mountain. On the rocky mountain face, Baboo moves closer to his Uncle Rowdy's. His greatest challenge is to cross the wibbly-wobbly bridge. But cross it he does. Finally, Baboo reaches the top of Grey Mountain. A red door stands before him. Baboo knocks, and slowly the door swings open. Up ahead, Amora continues her fight for freedom. Unknown to the bandits, she's spiked their dinner with a sleepy leaf. When the leaf takes hold, Amora begins to free her captive sister. Free her she does, but now the bandits are waking up. Amora tells her sister to run, and turns to face her captors. As her sister flees to safety, Amora attacks the bandits with all her might. Although fierce in battle, the bandits are too great in numbers. Despite the cruelty she'll now suffer, Amora can't help but smile. Her sister is free. Back on Grey Mountain, Babu learns of a shortcut to Sadtree. With his uncle's directions, there's no time to waste. Uncle Rowdy only wishes he was younger, so he could go with his brave nephew. Babu understands, and the two men part with love in their hearts. More perils lie ahead, but it matters not to Babu. For his is a quest of the heart, and a heart that's full can never be broken. Babu is striding toward the fungal tunnels. This dark passage will take him closer to his beloved Amora. Before reaching the fungal tunnels, Babu must pass through the Opie Mushies, where budding flowers spread hypnotizing scents. Babu spots a boy along the way. His name is Buff, and he lives among the bushes. Babu is happy to meet Buff, but tells him he must be on his way. Buff wants to follow along, but this is no journey for a bush boy. The boy is sad, and Babu feels badly, but there's no time to waste if he's to catch up to Amora. Almost at the other side, he hears a rustling from behind. It's the bush boy, and the mushies have him in a trance. Babu rushes to the bush boy's side, but he too is overwhelmed by the mushies. Poor Buff, and poor Babu, whatever will they do? Babu awakens in the gloom. He's no idea how he arrived at this drippy place. He looks around. It's little Buff, and he's been trapped by a vampire. If he doesn't act soon, Buff is sure to be devoured. With the beast distracted, Babu makes his move. He releases his friend, but now the monster is returning. With his life in peril, Babu strikes the beast with all his might. Fleeing from this dreadful tomb, the boys make it back into the light. And when safe once more, Babu stops to talk to Buff. He tells him to make his way home to his family. This kingdom is no place for a boy to wander alone. Buff tells Babu he has no family. He's all alone in this world. Babu understands and vows to return to his friend as soon as Amora is back at his side. But for now, he must make it to the fungal tunnels. The tunnels will take Babu to the Sandlands, a barren desert he must cross before reaching Sadtree. Standing at the tunnel's entrance, Babu considers the dangers that lie ahead. Then, with a deep breath, he steps forward into the darkness. Back in the light of the kingdom, Buff waits patiently for his friend to return. What's this? A stranger in the distance. In the drippy darkness of the fungal tunnels, Baboo is heading toward Amora. Soon, he'll be through this gloomy tube and traveling the kingdom's sandlands. The tunnel is a frightening place, but Baboo hesitates none. As slowly, surely, he makes his way toward the light. In the scorching desert heat, Baboo grows exhausted. Slowly, he moves toward the greener pastures. From there, he'll head to Sadtree, where, with his trading coin, he'll free the sisters. With nothing to quench his thirst, Baboo weakens under the desert heat. Now, he sees only what he longs for. Eventually, Baboo reaches a deserted town. Perhaps here he will find something to quench his thirst. Suddenly, a man appears before him. He calls himself the landlord and offers Baboo a cold bevy. Almost at the brink of exhaustion, Baboo guzzles the bevy with all his might. Suddenly, his head begins to spin. Overcome by the powerful drink, Baboo collapses on the desert floor. Helpless, Baboo can do nothing to stop the landlord taking his payment. Poor, helpless Baboo. Whatever will he do? Baboo awakens in the cold desert night. He looks around, but sees no sign of the landlord. With an aching head, he checks his pockets. His trading coin! The landlord took it! Devastated, and with no way to trade for Amora's freedom, Baboo carries on. For it is all he knows to do. Back in the kingdom, Buff learns of the sisters' ordeal. Hearing of the cruelty they suffered, Buff says they must head to Sadtree to help Baboo. He mustn't face these beasts alone. Finally, Baboo makes it to the end of the Sandlands. Weakened, and without his trading coin, he's no idea how he'll win Amora's freedom. But still, he staggers forward. Soon he'll be at Sadtree, where, even without his coin, he'll give his all to save Amora. Up ahead, the bandits arrive at Sadtree. At first light, Amora will be traded to the outer reaches. The bandits leave her with the other prisoners and head off to celebrate. Down, but not defeated, Amora produces some bursting bark from her pocket. When met with fire, this rare leaf is powerful enough to blast them all to freedom. A prisoner asks why she's so happy. Doesn't she know they're to be traded in the morning? She looks at the prisoner and smiles again. They will all be free by first light, she tells him. Under a moonlit sky, Babu is closing in on Sadtree. His body aching and his heart filled with worry, he'll do whatever it takes to save Amora. A blast from beyond. It's coming from Sadtree. With no idea what waits ahead, Babu summons all his strength and races towards the sound. Up ahead, the prisoners are fighting for their freedom. Unshackled at last, Amora explodes at her captors. Consumed by the need to fight, Amora remembers those she cherishes most. Then, she escapes into the night. In the morning light, Babu finally makes it to Sadtree. Much to his surprise, the town is almost deserted. He meets a man who tells him of the chaos of the night before. Babu learns of the prison break and the battle and the punishment handed out after. All who were recaptured have been marched to the hottest region of the outer reaches. A land so scalding that all who set foot there will immediately become undead. Babu asks when the prisoners were taken. The man tells Babu that by now they will already be undead. Babu is overcome. His beloved Amora has been made undead. With a broken heart, Babu begins walking toward the outer reaches. The man calls out to Babu. He too will be lost if he continues forward. But continue on he does, for it's all there's left to do. Free at last, Amora races across the kingdom. Stopping to rest, she wonders how she'll find her way to her sister. A noise from the trees. At the outer reaches, Babu wanders alone. Heartbroken, he barely feels the scalding heat that rises with each step. He looks out at the undeads and wonders if Amora is among them. Any moment, he too could be lost to these desperate lands. But still, he wanders on. He hears a calling from behind. The calling becomes louder. Babu can't believe his eyes. Is this really her? It is Amora, and she's alive! With not a moment to waste, Amora beckons Babu to follow her. Just as they make it to the reach's end, pirates appear before them. Babu hesitates, his mind racing. He thinks of all he has found in his short life, and all he has lost. He won't turn back, and he won't let them take Amora. Charging, Babu smacks the pirates into the lava. Amora rushes to his side. Now, finally, they can escape home. But wait, Babu has been wounded by the pirate's blast. With the light fading, Baboo smiles at Amora and tells her of the love he's carried for her in his heart. Then he sees only darkness. Babu is building a new home. He's going to need more space, now that his family has grown so large. There's lots to do at camp, but Babu doesn't mind. He's lots of helpers now, not to mention his Uncle Rowdy, who's always telling stories around the campfire.